Ugh. Please pay no attention to my beard hack job, please. So, I did it again. My wife and I watched two different movies tonight, so I guess you're getting two for the price of one again. I don't want to make a habit of this, but here goes. 65 is a concept that I immediately fell for. Imagine if aliens landed on Earth, but 65 million years in the past, when dinosaurs still roamed the Earth. There's more to that movie pitch, but I'm not going to ruin it. It's spoilers. That was enough for me to get me in the theater. I love weird, high concept movie ideas like that, and personally, I don't feel like we get enough of them. But a concept is only as good as its execution, right? I don't personally believe 65 is terrible, but I do see why it's getting terrible reviews. Adam Driver and his young co star Ariana Greenblatt, they're good, but they're not great. Those performances aren't going to light the world on fire. It's actually one of the weaker parts of the movie, I think. I often found myself kind of bored or annoyed by it. There's some good moments, don't get me wrong. Some, charming, funny, heartfelt moments, but it's not enough. Like, if you're wanting some unconventional father-child relationship to watch this weekend, you can watch The Last of Us, or even The Mandalorian. The movie's also, really bland sometimes. I was really, wanting more color actively throughout the movie. The movie's real strength, it's dinosaurs. And I use that word generously. Let's just say that 65 is not worried about scientific accuracy. It chooses instead to kind of do what old school sci-fi movies with dinosaurs in them used to do, where they basically just told the creature department, go nuts. Just be as weird as you want to be. If anything, I would have had the creature department go harder in that department, but it's still got some really interesting, weird dinosaur designs. Overall, fun, kind of bland, not great, kind of middling, but some dumb fun if you're into that sort of thing. Mostly, it made me yearn for the version of Jurassic Park that was a straight up horror movie that we never got. I'm still not over that. So, Scream 6. I'll be honest, me and my wife were not Scream aficionados. I'd only ever seen the first one, which I enjoyed, so we sort of just blitzed through the entire franchise in preparation for this new release this weekend. I will say now, I know why a lot of people love them the way that they do. Actually kind of regret having missed out on all of them during their heyday. I don't know how well some of it has aged, and not all of them are home runs by any stretch of the imagination. But as horror franchises go, I've certainly seen much more uneven, less fun, generally just worse examples. If I had to rank them, Scream is at the top, still my favorite, still probably the best in my opinion. I liked 4 enough that I put it here at number 2. Then number 2, right after that, and then probably 5 and finally 3, which I think was the weakest by far. I enjoyed Scream 6 more than 5, but less than 4. So as of now, it's probably third place for the best in the franchise for me. The wife and I aren't really into slasher films, really. It's not really our first choice for horror films, but we enjoyed cramming this franchise to prepare for this movie, and this movie does contribute to the overall Scream franchise in some interesting ways. I won't say that the shtick is getting tired, but I think the filmmakers are kind of aware that there are only so many other things they can do with sequels at this point before it starts, getting really silly. I did like the sequel. I like the characters. I like the story. I like the big intro, and I like the big reveal, which is basically what anyone cares about at all, right? I even like some of the dumber stuff, the stuff that sort of stretched my suspension of disbelief a little bit. Even and especially when the movie sort of owns up to it in a wink wink sort of way, like it's taking credit for it, like it's taking responsibility for it. I even like what they're trying to do to evolve the franchise, and specifically the role of Ghostface, which I won't ruin here, I promise. But if I'm being honest, I can only see there being so many new ways to keep this franchise afloat before they start doing like the really weird stuff and like shoving ghosts and aliens and robots into the mix or something. And I'm only half joking. At this point, I feel like they probably have one or two good movies in them before they just kind of, let the franchise rest for a while. At least for another decade or two, maybe. If our predominantly Gen Z audience has anything to say about it, that is, impressions out of the theater were not great. Not with the young people. Overall, had a good time. 65 is kind of middling, but it's worth a watch. Scream is really fun. Scream 6 is really fun in theaters, so you could do worse with your money this weekend.